Cartel members carrying grenade launchers on U.S. soil
Oh,
sounds really crazy.
whoa, they got
but that's
grenade
exactly what
launchers
federal
now.
Agents ran into in Georgia. It happened
Hold
when
on,
a
we might be in for
SWAT
some
team
shit.
moved in to take down a Mexican cartel.
They had enough drugs to kill 2.5 million people. Man, they pushing real weight. Nah, that's crazy.
Ring operating in Jackson County, but nothing could have prepared them for what happened next.
What you just heard were flashbangs used by SWAT in Jackson County early Tuesday morning.
The cartel members were armed with grenade launchers, and not just that, these guys were sitting on a cache of weapons enough to arm a small militia. And when
See, I knew they had some shit, but grenade launchers and rocket launchers is crazy.
Investigators dug deeper, the trail led them to the highest level of leadership in one of Mexico's most dangerous cartels. Everyone in that neighborhood is still shaken, and now they're asking, how did these criminals get their hands on such sophisticated weapons on American soil, and how many more of them are still out there?
People living on Jimmy Reynolds Drive and Tyler Circle in Arcade say the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, and SWAT were outside this home around 6 o'clock in the morning. The FBI posted these pictures to their Facebook account, saying agents were out arresting gang members as part of Operation Summer Heat.
We found 2 weapons in this apartment complex where we found these pills. There are children and adults and several innocent people that live in that area.
The idea of
hold on, I'm gonna skip, but hold on. Anybody who got fentanyl, man, take their ass straight to prison, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Get rid of that.
Children and adults and several innocent people that live in that area.
The raid started at about 6 o'clock in the morning when the residents of Jimmy Reynolds Drive in
That's one thing about the feds, man. They come in early, boy.
The terrifying sound of chaos.
A major gang crackdown. Tonight, the FBI says it arrested 17 alleged gang members in connection to a violent drug trafficking ring out of Athens.
Just this morning, the FBI's Atlanta office joined the Safe Streets Gang Task Force to make those arrests.
One neighbor said he heard officers yelling.
Actually, I think what they said is,
man, imagine getting hit with a flashbang at 6 a.m. Damn.
Come out with your
That's the worst alarm clock in the world,
that was
boy.
Before the downstairs door of a nearby home was kicked open. Minutes later, a man was taken out in handcuffs. When reporters spoke to the house owner, here's what he said.
And while the homeowner didn't want to go on camera, he tells me law enforcement kicked in his downstairs door and arrested a person living with him. When I asked why, he didn't care to elaborate. Neighbors also wanted to know.
Everyone in the neighborhood was asking the same thing. One of the neighbors even told the reporters that officers had actually been to that same house several times in the past few months.
You'll hear occasional yelling, and there's times where cops just pull up for him, and I have no idea why.
If that's true, then, you guessed it, the homeowner probably knew exactly what was happening inside that house. And so
of course he did.
They spent weeks quietly building their case, and when they were ready, they moved in on several houses at the exact same time. While that arrest was happening in Jimmy Reynolds Drive in Tyler's Circles, other teams were raiding 2 more houses across the county.
Kevin McCook is the sheriff of Jackson County. He says law enforcement hit about 3 different houses targeting gang members.
So they're not just random people. We're not just like pulling the slot machine hoping we get something. No, there's a background information that's done. A lot of legwork is done in really in this particular instance.
Jackson County Sheriff Kevin McCook later confirmed that 3 homes were targeted that morning. And guess what? All of them were tied to the same trafficking ring. But the most shocking detail came when agents began revealing what they found. In one of the houses, agents recovered a grenade launcher. Yes, you heard that right, an actual grenade launcher, alongside 26 other firearms and 12 rifles. They also counted nearly $1 million worth of cash.
Damn, look at all them pills, dog. Shit.
And a variety of dangerous drugs. To put that into perspective, officials later said that the amount of fentanyl alone could kill almost 7 million people if it had hit the streets.
Oh my God. Did y'all hear that shit? Hold on. I don't think y'all heard that one.
Worth of cash and a variety of dangerous drugs. To put that into perspective, officials later said that the amount of fentanyl alone could kill almost 7 million people if it had hit the streets.
We talking about a dose that could kill 7 million people? Do y'all understand what this raid just did? Man, that shit crazy.
And our thanks to Chase for that report. Now, the FBI says during the raids, they found a grenade launcher, close to $1 million in drugs and cash, and 26 firearms.
And the people running this ring were no amateurs. Federal court filings show the accused ringleader, Alicio Yanez Pineda, was moving fentanyl and meth through the Athens area for years. Prosecutors say he personally handled more than 400 grams of fentanyl, enough to be charged with federal trafficking. At the same time, another crew led by a man named Orlando Muckle was pushing dangerous drugs across multiple locations, including Commerce Parkway and Jennings Mill Parkway. This group had allegedly been running their operation since October 2020, making Athens a key hub for their
5
business.
Tonight, a
years.
sprawling law enforcement operation in Athens and Atlanta.
Local and federal officers teaming up to bust what they call a drug trafficking network.
Now, the craziest part of this whole thing is that most of the suspects had already done time for similar crimes. But because of the several loopholes in the system, they were released. And the moment they got out, they went right back to trafficking. Over time, they rebuilt their criminal empire and armed themselves with enough weapons to turn an entire neighborhood into a war zone if it ever came to that.
26 kilos of cocaine, 1.7 kilos of fentanyl, meth,
They got
hash,
everything
as
you
well as more
need,
than 2 dozen
boy.
weapons. That includes 26 guns and a grenade launcher. We're told the grenade launcher was seized in Jefferson, Georgia.
That is why so many agencies were involved in the operation.
15 law enforcement agencies all played a role in 12 different search warrant raids today across Atlanta.
They was
and
strapped
Athens.
up.
Police
You
ultimately
hear me?
arrested 17 people. They now face a mix of state and federal charges.
The FBI's Safe Streets Gang Task Force ran the operation, but they were joined by the DEA, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Athens Clark County Police, and sheriff's deputies from several counties.
We're told the collaborative effort was part of Operation Take Back America. That's a nationwide initiative focused on criminal organizations and illegal immigration.
In total, 13
Man, you got grenade launchers. I don't want no smoke. I swear to God, I don't want no smoke. I'm telling you, I'm good.
agencies executed 12 search warrants across Athens and
I can't do
Atlanta
shit
in a
with that
single
one.
morning. Thanks to weeks of surveillance and wiretaps, they pulled it off without a single injury. By the end of the morning, 17 suspects were in federal custody. The drugs were gone, the weapons were seized, and the houses had been cleared. But as big as that bust was, it was nothing compared to what happened months earlier when investigators stumbled on another stash in an Atlanta suburb.
Just take a look at these pictures. We got these today. These are just some of the deadly drugs confiscated in this historic bust.
So, a few months before the Athens raids even happened, police in Sandy Springs got a call about suspicious activity in an apartment complex. At first, it sounded like just another drug tip, but when detectives stepped inside, they froze.
Major Bohannon says an anonymous tip from another department
They
led Sandy
froze?
Springs police, who pulled in DEA,
What they
to an
found?
apartment where they found a contraption for packing powder into bricks, and then to a car and a stunning discovery.
Right there in the apartment were 2 suitcases stuffed with pills, almost 240,000
2
of them,
suitcases?
and investigators believed most were laced with fentanyl.
In 2 suitcases, we found approximately 240,000 pills, which we believe to contain fentanyl.
And sitting next to those bags was the real
Oy.
shocker. 5 full kilograms of powdered fentanyl stacked and ready to press into bricks.
Largest fentanyl bust in state history.
We seized approximately 24 kilograms of fentanyl in pill form, which equates to about 240,000 pills.
When DEA Acting Special Agent Jay
Damn.
was asked to put that into perspective, here's what he said.
We seized 5 kilograms of powder fentanyl.
5 kilos or 12 pounds contains potentially enough fentanyl to kill how many people?
2.5 million.
You can compare that to wiping out the entire population of the city of Sandy Springs and several other
Good
metro Atlanta
Lord.
cities. But the drugs were only one part of the story. Detectives also found 2 guns and a press machine used to shape the powder into brick.
Many Mexicans out here tripping.
We found 2 weapons in this apartment complex where we found these fentanyl pills. There are children and adults and several innocent people
And they don't give a man. They do not care. They trying to get paid.
That they had stumbled on a
What?
drug production site hidden in the middle of a family neighborhood.
A seizure in Sandy Springs featuring a frightening find and an affirmative field test for fentanyl, the deadly synthetic opioid. And if lab tests confirm suspicions, it's enough fentanyl in powdered form to kill about 2.5 million people. And in addition, a seizure of counterfeit pills also suspected of containing.
They had enough drugs to kill 2.5 million people. Do you, man, they pushing real weight. Nah, that's crazy.
Fentanyl, that's a Georgia record.
That discovery stunned even the local police. Sandy Springs Police Major Forrest Bohannon even admitted they had never seen anything like it before.
It was shocking. When we found that amount of fentanyl in our city, you can compare it to killing our entire population of the city of Sandy Springs.
And several other metro Atlanta cities.
Yes, it is very concerning.
And Agent Jay Chung said it proved what they had suspected for months. Mexican cartels are using Atlanta as a major hub.
Someone with this quantity of fentanyl that we seized has direct connections to one of 3 cartels: Sinaloa Cartel, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, better known as CJNG, or the Nueva La Familia Cartel. And we're confident that we'll be able to track this down to one of those cartels.
Atlanta has quietly become a hub for cartel logistics in the southeast. The dangerous drugs get shipped in bulk from Mexico, broken down into smaller packages here, and then sent out across multiple states. Usually, at least half of what comes through Georgia ends up leaving the state. But this time was different.
But the circumstances in this case lead him to believe most of the powdered suspected fentanyl and the pills would have been bound for metro Atlanta streets.
The suspect had a lengthy criminal history that include violence with a firearm, drug trafficking, and also he was wanted in 2 different states.
Investigators believed that most of what they found, all 5 kilos and the pills, was meant to stay right in Atlanta. And when you connect this with what happened in Athens, the picture becomes even clearer. But investigators were not going to rest until they got to the root of this criminal empire. And soon
Please
enough,
get to the root.
The money and drug trail led them to the highest level
But I
of
don't know if
leadership
that's what y'all
in one
want to
of
do though.
Mexico's most
Hold on.
dangerous cartels. So, after the raids in Athens and the massive find in Sandy Springs, federal agents kept digging. Investigators went through every wiretap, every surveillance photo, every phone record. Piece by piece, they built the case until it all pointed to one of Mexico's most feared cartels, La Nueva Familia Michoacana. And sitting at the very top of that cartel are 2 brothers, Johnny and Jose Alfredo Hurtado Olascuaga.
These brothers were charged by a federal grand jury in the Northern District of Georgia with various crimes related to the manufacture, distribution, and importation of massive quantities of heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, and fentanyl into the United States.
But they're not just selling drugs. Back in Mexico, their group is feared for using extreme violence, including public executions and weaponized drones to keep entire towns
They got
under their control.
drones.
Once investigators had enough
They
evidence
got
tying the brothers to
drones,
Georgia's
boy.
drug pipeline, they went public. Federal prosecutors unsealed indictments against the brothers and announced $8 million in rewards for information leading to their capture. Even as they're being hunted in the U.S., the
Hold on, you said they got 8 million.